The BumbleKast is for entertainment purposes only. The host's comments and opinions, and those of their guests, are wholly their own and do not represent that of any other entity. Content is provided as is, with no guarantees of accuracy or timeliness.
Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Hey, we're here. Welcome to Wednesday. That's right. We are moving some stuff around. There's things going on in our lives. And so our release schedule of Mondays, and we've been putting episodes out on at least Monday every week for... How long, Ian? How long have we been doing this crazy thing?
Nearly upon 10 years. Don't fact check me on that. I don't care. We've been doing this a while.
Yeah. October 2015, I think, would be when we started it. And we're still here for some reason. So, and we're still keeping on going. But yeah, you can definitely expect new content on Wednesdays. As the new shows will be coming out on Wednesdays going forward. With Mondays maybe occasionally, but definitely Wednesdays. Like we've been sticking to Mondays for a long time, but now it's time to shift things a little bit. So look forward to episode releases on Wednesdays instead.
Yeah, because 2025 hit us both like a truck and then backed up, not to make sure we were okay, but to make sure that it hit us.
Yes.
And,
yeah.
I know that's kind of similar for most of y'all listening out there in the Bumble Cosmos. So thank you again for supporting us with your questions via patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or by being a YouTube member.
Yes, indeed. We have been ran over and backed up on multiple times by a truck this year. So that's exciting and fun.
Beep, beep.
In reality, it's neither of those things. I'm being sarcastic. What I'm not being sarcastic about is answering these questions, starting off with this one from Andrew D. Next up on our journey through the anti-Mega Man story is Redemption, where Wily's innocence is proven by Mega Man returning to the Amazon, and Wily teams up with Light to create Gamma. Plus, we see our first peek into X's time when he's awakened, and the Maverick Hunters are formed. How does this all play out in our anti-Mega Man series?
In this scenario... Anti-Dr. Light is cooking up a something. So he sends Anti-Mega Man along to make sure Anti-Wily is exonerated. He needs him back home squeaky clean so that he can collaborate with Anti-Gamma, which is absolutely in no way a giant killer robot. It's for peace. And boy howdy is Wily being set up to be the fall guy. Meanwhile, in Anti-Mega Man X, Anti-Dr. Kane is looking to rob some ancient ruins, cracks open the casket, and Anti-X wakes up with visions of some purplish flag-haired character going, "Kill Zero! You have to kill Zero!"
Oh boy. And then he wakes up.
And I guess in that case, Anti-Sigma's invented so that he can stop this rampaging robot who then beats him with a pipe.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, here's one from Ava Arctic. Dear Strong Flynn, I was wondering how you're able to type so many comics with boxing gloves on your hands. Isn't it hard to press the keys so quick? Or do you have one of those massive keyboards where each key is the size of an American dinner plate? Your fan, Ava, the best cook in the entire BumbleKast server.
Well, Antarctica. This is actually not a problem at all, because I have keyboards that are standardized to Canadian-sized plates, which are far superior to your measly American plates. Know that you're lying about cooking. Strong, Ian.
Yes. Perfect. Butter Noodles has a question. You've mentioned before about your writing style and how artists say that they like the way you write comics for them. But how did you develop it? What inspirations or lessons from your experience helped to form your style?
My base style was taught to me by Mike Pellerito, who was at the time editor of the Archie Sonic books. And the format itself really hasn't changed since then. It's very simple. It's an easy to figure out structure. I have a sample on my website, bumbleking.com, if you want to see and follow along with that. What I learned along the way was adding in the balloon notation just to be helpful, finding the right degree of description to have in the panel descriptions, figuring out how much space dialogue takes up on a page and how best to format that in the script so that I myself can kind of gauge how it's going to be laid out when it's put in a balloon. But the very core structure of it really hasn't changed since I first implemented it. It's just fine-tuning it to be a little more practical. It's just been more of a learning experience on how best to write a script. And we've covered that a lot of times on the show. It's being descriptive without being verbose at the very basic.
Alrighty. Comic the Hedgehog has a question. You and Kyle are now the proud co-owners of a highly profitable food truck called the BumbleKast. What's on the menu? Who takes the orders and who makes them? Is there a Bumble King toy with every meal? More importantly, will Kyle ever get to drive the truck and make it go vroom, vroom?
I don't know, Kyle. Do you want to drive the truck and make it go vroom, vroom?
Of course. I always want to.
You can have the vroom, vroom duty.
I always want to make things go vroom, vroom. That's kind of my things.
Do you want to be in the kitchen or do you want to take the orders?
Well, I hate cooking, so I'll take the I'll take the orders.
And
we both have experience with it, though. So
yeah,
working in the kitchen.
We're going to be doing smash burgers. It's going to be a very simple menu.
Okay.
Do you want cheese? Yes, no. We have a certain selection of toppings. Do you want those on there? Yes, no. Here's your burger. Go.
Yeah, pretty much. When it comes to a food truck, I feel like simpler is better. You don't need to get fancy on a food truck.
Do it once. Do it right. You're good. Like,
yes.
Maybe have like a chicken sandwich for the one person who doesn't want a smash burger. Why are you coming to the burger truck for a chicken sandwich? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe your friend is just being pedantic and you don't want to go looking around the whole yard. Maybe your kid's a picky eater and you don't want to go looking around the whole yard. Maybe you just want to keep us on our toes. That's fine. Whatever. Here's your very beef flavored chicken. Because you think I'm washing off that stovetop every single time? No. We're going Waffle House, baby. That thing hasn't been touched since we started the truck last year. Flavor locked in.
What? What are you saying? What are you talking about?
Flat top grill is covered with a fine misting of burned burger meat.
Okay.
The ghost of burgers past are infused into the burgers of today.
I don't know if that's... Well, I guess that's why we have a B on our food safety rating.
And we just draw a little K next to it to make it's a BK. Rated BK.
B for burgers. I mean, of course.
Brilliantly crafted.
Food and health safety. Whatever.
Just ask Ava Arctic. They will verify this is how it works.
Meanwhile, Noni is internally screaming. Dawson the Dachshund has a question. If you laid eggs, would you eat your own eggs to preserve nutrients?
I mean, that makes enough sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I produce enough, then, that's how you get your fried egg burger in the burger truck.
Okay. Yeah.
Think about it, man. We got extra protein. We don't even have to worry about expenses because it's right there. You're like, yo, Ian, order up another egg burger. And I'm like, and there we go.
This keeps getting... This keeps escalating. What did we do, Ian? What did we do to deserve this? Oh, yeah. This is definitely a thing. Well, I mean, it would make sense that we would do this considering our mascot is an alligator bee thing. So, they lay eggs, don't they? I can't remember. I think they do.
If they really want to, I guess.
I think they lay eggs. Well, at least alligators do. The bee alligators, I don't know. We can have some alligator meat burgers on the menu. I don't know. It makes sense enough, I suppose. Don't think about it too hard, please. DDRMM has a question. You've been contracted to run your own reality TV show. What's the name, premise, and the grand prize contestants can look forward to?
2 options. Number 1, we just call it Our House. And it's us, our immediate family and friends. It's really just an excuse to be paid to do what we normally do.
Yeah.
There's no manufactured drama. There's no, problems. It's just we go about our daily lives, and it's a little voyeuristic, but there's nothing in the shower, so we're fine. Oh no, the bed sheet fell over the camera while we're changing clothes. Oops, well, it's back online, and that's it. The volume cuts out when I'm on a confidential call with a client. Oh, there we go. We get paid to lead our regular lives. And for some people, they'll still want to watch it. There are people watchers out there.
Yes.
And you know what? That's fine. If you want to pay money to watch me sit on the couch, all right. Here's the link.
Yeah, why not, I guess.
The other alternative is to just gather a bunch of rich folks, toss them into a moderate level flat, and have them work a 9 to 5 and watch them eat each other alive.
Yes. It has to be specifically ones who've never had to do anything like that before, though. 'Cause there's a few out there.
People.
Huh?
I said rich people.
There's a few out there that have managed to claw their way up somehow.
Exceptions approved.
Somehow.
I think most folks
so it would have to be. So it would
be suckered into the show.
So it would have to be. It would definitely have to be ones that are not with that experience, and then the losers get our burgers.
Why would we reward them with our delicious mammalian egg burgers?
Let's move on.
Beep, beep, vroom, vroom.
Double L has a question. The longest text adventure of your lives continues. To recap, we are both in a room sharing a body. There are 2 beds, a door, and a window. The nurse outside the window has run off. The mouse is protecting the mouse hole under the bed. You have 5 dust bunnies in your inventory. Where's this inventory located? No idea. All right. And these are resolving our previous actions. Ian, you said you were going to recruit Mouse. Your army could use a strong general, and the delicious Mouse has the right kind of gumption. You offer a hand and tell the Mouse you could use someone like them. The Mouse looks at you, fears seeming to dissipate. It replies in a heavy Brooklyn accent.
I heard your stupid speech to the bunnies. You're going to have to do better than that. I got a family, and I'm not about to lay down my life as some scaly punk in a zoo.
And then I asked the mouse about the situation. And the response is, seeing as it understands you, you ask the mouse what's going on. It says,
you're in a room in some kind of science lab. I don't know more than that. You'll need to be more specific.
Before you can, the mouse returns, followed by a bald man who places his face against the glass and says, Ramu, so psychodanbilia.
It's the nurse who returns, not the mouse.
Did I say mouse? I meant nurse.
You did. That's all right. The mouse has been very prominent.
The mouse is right there. The mouse is here. Hello, mouse. Okay. So what do you want to do, Ian?
I feel like we're rapidly running out of time here.
Yeah, we might be.
Because the nurse was distraught, and now we've got, I'm assuming, the lead researcher involved. So they're going to meddle by the next turn, I'm willing to bet.
Yeah.
We don't have anything to offer this mouse outside of our Toon Logic inventory and, I don't know, scaly texture, I guess.
Maybe.
So
I don't know.
Since I'm pursuing the mouse subplot here, I'm going to make one last Hail Mary to try to recruit it. And then if this doesn't work, I think we should move on.
Okay.
I'm going to shoot straight with this mouse. Okay. It's clearly got a good head on its shoulders. It's nobody's fool. Given the situation, we have nothing to offer, really. We have nothing to sway the mouse. Outside of, clearly, we are trying to take action here, and something's going on. So, offer an extended invite. If the mouse helps us succeed in whatever it is we're doing, they can reap the rewards. All we want is an understanding and a way out. If there are extra boons to be had, they are for the mouse. Wealth, power, dinosaurs, whatever we find. The mouse can name their price once this is over.
Okay. I want to establish what we are. So how about looks down at self? That would be my action. Assess what we are. What are we? So we'll figure that out. Maybe. Question from Dove. Ian, what lesser-known franchises would you want to write a comic for? Maybe Punch-Out. Then again, Punch-Out seems like it could be fun. Oh, what about something obscure, like Dino Crisis? Or Punch-Out?
Yeah, Dino Crisis would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Because it's dinos and it's a crisis.
Punch-Out would be fun. I just worry or wonder if the present day sensibilities would make approaching the characters difficult. Because from my position, the various fighters you face in Punch-Out are caricatures to be sure, but none of them in an insulting or insensitive way. Yeah. Perhaps that is ignorance on my part, but I didn't see anything overtly demeaning in any of the contenders, except maybe that big Canadian fella, but I don't know. I haven't been out to Alberta, so who knows? Just there is a consciousness now that wasn't as prevalent when they were first created. And while I do think it is good to be mindful and be sensitive and be open to correction and education, I also feel like that there is a degree of holding everything like it's a fragile little egg, that everything is set up on a pedestal and nothing can be lampooned, or everyone must be treated as this paragon of their respective background, and we cannot have anything weird or odd about it because that would be insulting. And part of that comes from a long history of not utilizing other cultures appropriately.
A long history of being insulting.
Yeah. So I don't know. I would approach it from a perspective of respect and fun, and look at how goofy all these people are trying to punch each other.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be received today with that intention. I don't know.
I mean, 2010 was 15 years ago, but I feel like the Wii Punch-Out managed to thread the needle a bit fairly well.
I thought so too. I also say this as a white dude. So
yeah.
If there was someone of that particular background represented who thought, no, this actually is insulting because of XYZ, comment below, educate. I am quite willing to be told, this may seem funny to you. This is why it's actually kind of insulting because of this long history of such and such. It's like, oh, I didn't know that. That's terribly disappointing.
Yeah, but then for every person who feels that way, there's another one who's going to be like, it's fine. I think it's funny,
I will let them hash that out. That is their argument to be had.
Yes. Either way, though, you writing Dino Crisis would also be pretty sick.
I mean, that one's pretty easy, yeah. Resident Evil with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're on this island. Here comes a dinosaur. Bang, bang, bang. Repeat forever.
I mean, geez, if you... Regina, you writing Regina would be pretty crazy, I think. That would be... Yes.
Oh, no, that velociraptor has a shotgun.
Looks like we're gonna have to shoot.
Have to jump.
Oh, jump.
Yeah. No, seriously, why has there not been a new Dino Crisis?
Because the third one, I think, kind of tanked and nobody liked it.
Okay, then reboot the franchise.
Yeah.
Or give it the Resident Evil 4 treatment.
Do a remake, yeah.
Very pretty hallways, dinosaurs, jump scares. It's not a hard concept.
Yeah.
That and Dino Riders. Why do we not have Dino Riders back, man?
Why can't we have Dino Riders and Dino Crisis?
I feel like that's kind of different themes, but I don't know. Maybe you can play with the franchise a little bit.
Okay, I was just saying, like, have Dino Riders and
shoot space aliens with lasers while on dinosaur. Why are all the different species from way across the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous here? Because it's some kind of weird science planet where they threw all the Jurassic Park embryos and they just hatched like Pokemon. And now we got dinosaurs with lasers on their back. All right? Shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah. Why not? We do need more dinosaurs with laser beams on their freaking heads.
See, this man gets it.
All right, Godzilla has a question. Say one day you get a call and it's DC Comics and NetherRealm creative director Ed Boon on the phone. They want you to write a Mortal Kombat comic set in Liu Kang's new era. Do you A, write a prequel to Mortal Kombat 1 with the characters prior to the events of the game, or B, write a comic set after the events of MK1 dealing with the fallout? How would you test your might at this opportunity?
From what I've seen of like the DLC and what they've hinted at with other stuff, I feel like they have a very clear vision of where everyone is in Liu Kang's universe, or at least an idea of where they want him to be. And there's some fun in exploring that, but I feel like that's already kind of been locked in. So I would think at this point, I would feel more inspired to pick up where Mortal Kombat 2, the second, would be,
like
rather than try to reverse engineer stuff and explore all the various changes. Or, I mean, because part of it is they've got to reach a certain point, and I don't know if the story beforehand is interesting enough before it gets to here they are in the Mortal Kombat story.
Alrighty then. Gideon W. asks, Wily at times creates robot doubles and, while debated in the fandom, looks destined to one day mind upload himself into a digital form that survives into the Mega Man X era. How does Wily, if he even does, handle the issues around that in one moment Flesh Wily closes his eyes, and when he, quote-unquote, opens his eyes again, he may be looking at his flesh body looking at himself? This is worded strangely, but I think I get the concept, yes.
They wake up dead.
Essentially, yes.
And now this is very much fanon on my end, but I imagine that whatever attempts Wily make to preserve himself digitally don't work well. So with Dr. Light, I can see him converting himself into the blue pod ghost almost effortlessly. And, I see him coming online and seeing him lying there and going, I lost weight before I died. Figures. But Wily? No, I figure Wily's got like some kind of corrupted torrent seed that just kind of lingers in cyberspace and manifests in different ways. Like it's one part the virus, it's one part Isaac, it's one part this, one part that. He tried to upload himself and it didn't quite work.
Wily is in the X series, or at least not him directly, but like he has a digital form, doesn't he? Am I having a freaking?
I would have to double check. The only physical Wily that I can think of is the vision Zero has in his flashback. But that could just be a memory of living Wily booting him up briefly,
Okay.
Or it could just be interpretive.
Okay. All right. Isaac in X6 is not Wily, but he's like kind of like might as well be.
And is that like the virus finally coalesced properly, or
did
he try another upload and it didn't work? Or again, I feel like Wily tried a few things and they didn't work well.
Yeah.
Whereas Light got it to work with the capsules.
Yeah.
It continues the theme of Dr. Light doing his research and doing something right, and Wily going, I can make this work, and he sort of technically does if you don't look at it too hard.
Yeah, don't look at the things on Isaac's head too hard, though, because they look like toilet paper rolls in some shots. It's like, I guess if you want to do a cheap cosplay of Isaac, there you go. You're welcome. Hero Squad has a question. Wario and Waluigi in Shantae. How does it go?
They become her stalwart companions
Yes.
in the attempt to steal whatever magic MacGuffin she's trying to recover from the bad guys.
Perfect.
Also, they mimic her moves exactly.
I was going to say, they fit right in. Like, yeah, this is perfect.
And then, like, the final boss encounter is they pull their vile but inevitable betrayal and steal the MacGuffin. And it's basically a big game of keep away with Shantae beating the both of them up trying to recover said MacGuffin.
Yes, yes. Captain Syrup versus Risky Boots. Oh, yes. I'm super on board. I am super on board. Let's go with that. Yeah. Yes. Yes, please. All right. Johnny Gyro has a question. Time for some turtle power. Ian and Kyle, which version of the TMNT are you most familiar with? I'm more familiar with the 2003 cartoon, but I wanted to double check before asking more TMNT related questions.
Familiar enough to say I remember when, but not so much that I can be like a reliable source on any of them.
Yeah.
Like I grew up with the, I want to say 80s cartoon, but it was 90s, wasn't it?
It started in the 80s and went through to the 90s. Yeah, it was like 89. Was it 89? I want to say it was 89.
All right,
I might be thinking of the movie. The movie might be 1989, but 87. Okay, cartoon was 87 started.
God.
And then the movie, the movie was 1990. Okay.
I could probably quote the first live action movie just sitting here.
Yes.
Second and third, not so much. The 90s or early aughts. Which one was the animated reboot that was more serious?
I think that was 2003.
Was that 2003? Okay. Saw some of that. Didn't follow that one as much, and I don't even remember why. Enjoyed the CG reboot for a bit.
2012 one. Yeah, that's the one I'm probably most familiar with.
I really enjoyed / was very frustrated by the standalone CGI movie.
Yes.
Because what it got right, boy, did it get right. What it got wrong, it's like, why? You watch all the deleted scenes, and it's like, you had something better here. Learned to enjoy Rise. Like, it turned me off at first, but then I realized what they were doing with it. And then I got on board. Haven't seen the newest CG movie, although it looked like fun. I just didn't get around to it.
Yeah.
Avoided the Bay movies. And wrote a little bit for the current IDW run, but I haven't followed up on that in a while, so I'm out of date on that.
Yeah.
Never read enough of the Archie series to really know much about it. Or, honestly, a lot of the old comics. I was more the cartoons.
Yeah, yeah. I have a pretty decent grasp of the original cartoon and 2012 specifically. So, both of those. Chrysalis has a question. Hello, you two. Hope all is well. Are there currently any plans to make physical copies of Claus McGee? I really want to support your personal work more, but I have a hard time reading for fun when it comes to reading online.
I can appreciate that. The plan is, once the first 4 issues are done, to collect those in trade. It's been slow going because I'm funding it out of pocket, and right now the personal funds are going to Drogoon. So I have to decide what gets the priority, what gets attention where, and Drogoon's the bigger project by far. Also, I've hit kind of a writer's block on number 3. I know what I'm doing with number 4. I can't get number 3 to work just right, so I'll figure it out. I'll get it done. If you would like to help grease those wheels and see Claus McGee happen sooner rather than later, I have a personal Patreon. Link on my website. I haven't updated in it a bit because that truck labeled 2025, vicious creature.
It just keeps circling around.
Yeah. So we'll get to it eventually, though.
Uh-huh.
If nothing else, I want to see more of Jonathan Griffith's art. I freaking adore his style.
Yes.
Like half the reason I came up with Claus McGee was an excuse to work with him.
Isn't coming up with Drogoon just an excuse to work with Adam?
No, Drogoon was like, I want to make my universe.
Well, yeah.
Something. all mine. It's like,
But
who
still.
would be really good for this? Well, there's a short list. Let's see if Adam's here at the con. Let's ask him. Oh, he wants on board? Cool. Here we go. Hit the ground running.
Okay, good. Okay.
I mean, there's the list of project I want to start just so I can work with this artist is a mile long, but I have to show some restraint.
I guess. I suppose. Whatever. Nicole has a question. As you ponder the Tomb of the Crimson Skulls in the land of Cantadel, we know that you are a sneak. However, we do not know what matters to you. Which do you have on your journey? A loyal pet rabbit whom you love dearly? An heirloom dagger from a close relative you cherish greatly? Or an incomplete map of the tomb from a mostly reliable source that costs you muchly?
I want to go against what I usually do. I usually go Paragon route, which is boring, I know, but so I'm inclined to choose the dagger because daggers do stabby, and while it belonged to someone I held dear, that dagger's for revenge. There's a reason that person who I held in high regard is no longer there to hold the dagger, and this dagger, it's going to get that revenge for them. Unless that bunny comes with a mean streak a mile wide.
Oh, okay. So it's Daisy from Doom. Got it.
So, Nicole, I'll let you decide, Nicole. Am I on my revenge quest with the dagger, or do I have a surface-to-air rabbit?
Alrighty. And our last question before we take a break is from Nikki Rabbit. Hey, Ian, you hear a knock at the door and open it, only to be greeted by Yves Jameau, the CEO of Ubisoft. He's come to ask you to write their next game in the Rabbids series. And before you say no, he offers you $500,000. He makes it clear you can't kill the Rabbids or even have them get hurt beyond slapstick comedy. So how do you go about writing this story?
First off, I laugh because you think $500,000 is enough to buy me to work the freaking Rabbids?
Yes.
No.
Uh-huh.
No. Maybe. Okay, maybe, but I would really have to stop and think about it. There would be a long night staring at the table and the bank balance going, is it worth it?
Yes.
Is it worth it? Is it worth it?
Yes, it is.
And then after my wife slaps him aside the head and says, yes, get over yourself. It's like, okay.
It's worth it.
And what it is the most cuddly and joyful torture chamber you've ever seen. There's no overt, lasting violence, and the rabbits stumble away going, ha, ha, ha. They're not hurt. You can see in their eyes that it's dead. But no, no one's hurt here, at least physically, in a lasting sense.
All right. Well...
that flamethrower, it's just a little like air gun with confetti and acid and bullet ants.
The chat is apparently disappointed.
What, that I sold out?
That
or
you're
that I
they're saying they say okay, well, it's Noni specifically saying this. They're saying that your idea is half-assed. It doesn't go far enough. You got to commit to the bit.
Well, all you're offering is $500K for Rabbit. All right, fine,
bro.
No,
Ian,
fine.
Ian,
all right,
Ian,
all right.
Ian, you've never made. Ian, you've never
I
made.
recently watched a video talking about the history of Rayman. That got into the fact that rabbits are an interstellar species.
Yeah.
That were like attacked and tortured and whatever, and that's why they are the way they are. So fine, it's an RTS where they go back to the rabbit homeworld to retake what is theirs. And you got all sorts of different rabbit units that you can organize and send them going towards whatever it is that's strip mining their world. And you can have little like iconic hero champion rabbits based off of various Ubisoft properties with special powers, go the full Warcraft 3 angle, play this very dramatic Game of Thrones-esque scene, but they're all talking in weeble wobbles and wogs. So you lean into the nonsense, and they manage to successfully reclaim their world and drive out the invaders, whoever they were, and they now live in peace, and then the planet explodes.
and then they'll be back in the next game. It's fine. The chat says Kingdom Hearts, but Rabbids. Okay, Noni is quite pleased with this turn of events, apparently. So, all right, now that we have,
I'm glad because
fixed
I'm
this.
not doing Ansem the Wog.
Now that we have fixed this problem, we can take our break, our well-deserved break, and then come back with more on the BumbleKast. You have appeased the council.
We're the bee and the berry. I'm the bee.
Straubs. No, I'm the bee.
Oh, my bad. We can cut that, right?
No, we can cut that.
Okay. We're the bee and the berry.
I'm the bee.
And I'm Strawberry.
And The Bee and the Berry is an irregularly scheduled podcast where we talk all things Sonic, writing fan fiction, and fan creation.
We snoop around at fan events, review the latest and hottest Sonic content, and host interviews with our fellow Sonic fan creators.
You know, just girly things.
And hey, if you want, you can totally send us any discussion topics or questions you'd like us to talk about, and we might answer them.
Or we might not.
But hey, you never know. You can find us on Twitter, Blue Sky, Tumblr, and YouTube at The Bee the Berry.
Okay, we're running out of time here. Gotta grow fast.
Ciao!
We're back with a question from Onyxodon. It's time for Season 2 of your comedy Star Wars show. After the fall of the Empire, ex-ISB Commander Ian Flynn and his rusty yet loyal protocol droid, KY-13, are hunting down the traitorous former Grand Moff Alia and her droid J3N, who are now working for the New Republic in revenge for all those years of gaslighting them for the rebellion. With the New Republic, anti-imperial sentiment, and their own ineptitude against them, how do Flynn and KY-13 fare? Do they have their revenge on the traitors, or do they end up falling hopelessly in love with them, just like in real life?
Well, here's the thing. We've established that my character in this is a blithering idiot. So
Okay.
I'm tracking them down because they disappeared after the fall of the Empire, and we need them for the New Order. They were really good at their jobs.
Yeah.
Where did you go? Come back. We need you for this. And it's this kind of cat and mouse game, but it's more like Tom and Jerry, I guess, when you get down to it.
I suppose, yeah.
And they eventually realize that for all of our faults, we can actually be pretty effective if properly directed.
Mm-hmm.
So the climax of it all is they realize that they just tell me that this is all one big false flag operation. The New Republic, the Resistance, it's all just a big facade.
Of course.
And if we put up a good enough fight against the New Order, that makes it look like we're this terrible force and everyone needs to flock to the New Order for protection. So here's how we need you, good old Ian, to take down the Empire's resurgence. It's like, wow, 4D chess. I am impressed. Let's go.
Yes. We are but simple men or droids.
And you're just happy for the job security at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just along for the ride. I just want to see what happens.
And let's not tie a bow on the romantic subplot yet. Let's leave that for season 3.
Yes. Question from Rabbit Haver. There is a large, hyper-aggressive chimpanzee in the hallway outside your condo. You must find a way to get past the animal using only what is available to you in your home. Also, this chimpanzee has the signal deadening properties of a cell phone jammer, so there is no calling for help. How do you escape?
I don't.
You just learn to live and make friends with your new chimp buddy.
Like, at best, I just wait for another neighbor to walk out and get mauled and hope that satiates its bloodlust.
Yeah.
Beyond that, no. I wouldn't. You don't understand. Chimpanzees are terrifying.
Well, yeah.
They are just regular ones, not hyper-aggressive ones. They will beat you easily. Hyper-aggressive? Mm-mm. No, I have nothing on my side. The best I could do is get some duct tape and a kitchen knife and a broom handle, and you know what? I just gave that thing a weapon.
I think any ape or monkey is scary. Like, they'll claw your eyes out. And
yeah, they're all bad, but chimps especially. They hunt, dude.
Yeah.
They talk.
Yeah,
they coordinate. No. No.
Yeah,
They have 4 hands to beat you with at the same time, and their face is full of knives. No.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm pushing my furniture to ensure the door does not open. I'm barricading myself inside. No. Mm-mm.
Nope. All right. Strawberry has a question. Hey, Ian and Kyle, you guys have been hired to be the casting directors for an exciting new film project, Undertale, the movie. The only requirement is that you're required to cast Jack Black, Cheryl Lee Ralph, and Awkwafina in major roles, and the role of Frisk has already been cast, starring Jojo Siwa. Otherwise, everything depends on you. Go nuts.
It doesn't help that I don't know a lot of actors.
Okay, so...
I mean, Jack Black's easy enough. You just cast him as Gaster, and he's relegated to a scene on the DVD that you have to put a special code in with your remote to find.
Yeah.
I think he'd be on board with that. I think he would get the joke.
Awkwafina as Alphys? Maybe?
Maybe. I feel like she generally has more energy than Alphys could ever conceive of, but I don't know. Maybe she could play against type.
Yeah, maybe. Gaster says, Undertale! Let's see.
I mean, Miss Ralph seems to be kind of overcast for this.
Yeah.
Toriel, I say, without any real better idea.
Yeah. Suggestion from the chat is Jason Momoa as Asgore.
If he had proper direction, I could actually see that.
Yeah.
Like if you made him try, maybe.
Yeah. Where's Chris Pratt in all this?
Make him Sans just to piss everybody off.
No. I'm laughing.
Like he's not even in costume or anything. He's just in the slippers and the little hoodie, and he's just like, "Hey, my name's Sans Undertale. How you doing?" You want to make it really, really bad though?
Yeah.
Jared Leto is Papyrus.
Oh, oh no! Oh, that's disgusting. That's literally, that's revolting. Oh, no. Oh, no. You were being devious today. Oh,
Wonder Strawberry, you opened this door.
Yeah.
You allowed us to walk through it.
Yeah. Oh no. Jeez. This is apparently what Straub wanted.
Okay. You're insane. You're my kind of crazy.
Yeah. It's true though. We got any more ideas in here?
Oh, no. I think we've been profane enough.
Yeah, I think that's pretty... Yeah, that's probably good enough. Sam Cybercat has a question. Switch 2 time. What titles from the recently revealed lineup are you guys most looking forward to?
None, because there's no way I can afford that thing.
Nope.
Like, with conversion, the games are going to be $110 Canadian. Are you insane?
At least...
And it's not even anything on the actual cartridge. It's just a dongle for the DLC. That is obscene.
Not all games.
I thought that's what they said in the direct, is that the games themselves are just downloads.
No. There's an option for publishers to do it that way, but not all games are going to be on... Not all games are going to be just digital downloads on cartridge.
Well,
but
I'm assuming the Nintendo first-party ones are going to be.
They will be on cartridge, you mean? Yeah.
No, downloads.
No, they will most likely be full games on the cartridge.
I feel like that's the exact opposite of what they said in the direct. I'll have to go back and look. Point is, $110 frickin' dollars.
Yeah.
Never mind a $700 Canadian install for just the system. No.
Uh-huh.
Which is too bad because, the new Mario Kart looks fun.
Yeah.
The open world exploration is the selling point for me. The new Donkey Kong looks phenomenal. Rip up the stage to beat up the rest of the stage. Yes, I am on board. Looks slick as all get out. They haven't said anything about what's going to be in Kirby Air Riders, but I'm assuming City Trial is coming back, and that's all I really want in life is City Trial. All day, every day.
Mm-hmm. That's all anybody wants, really.
And I would love to have Metroid Prime 4 on the stronger hardware just for the extra pretty. But there is absolutely no way I'm getting this at launch. Unless I win the lottery and take care of every other real concern in life, I cannot justifiably dump that kind of money on that system. That is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. I'm off board for a while. Console pricing is caught up to PC, and it's not pretty.
Mm-mm.
No, it's not pretty. But, I mean, Mario Kart World looks like fun. I don't think it looks like $80 fun.
No.
But at the same time, most games these days, they have a $60 entry fee, and then you have to buy the DLC to get the full experience, so it ends up costing more anyway. So I guess I can't begrudge Nintendo for just making the actual cost of the game price up front. I mean, I don't know.
There isn't going to be DLC for World, though.
But that's a bold assumption on my part, I know. But yeah, it's oof. Yeah.
And I might be a little more inclined to look the other way with World's roster if it didn't have, Goomba and Cow.
Hey.
I laughed at Cow. That was entertaining. But when you throw aside characters like Gino or Mallow or Tatanga or Captain Syrup or, all of the actual characters in the extended Mario universe for Pokey.
Dude, don't crap on Pokey like that. How dare you?
Pokey is fine as like maybe a joke unlockable or something off of the field or maybe a costume. That is not a character. It is a stage hazard. Yoshi eats it to make eggs.
Pokey is a legend. Come on. It's like don't crap on a Goomba either. Come on. Goomba's legend. No. Goomba is love. Goomba is
has
life.
No hands.
Good.
Goomba isn't even using his feet to steer. If they at least did that, I'd be like, all right, that's funny. But no, he's just sitting there using his psychic powers or something. That's lazy.
Good.
No.
As he should.
If he was biting the handlebars to steer, that'd be funny. No,
yeah.
It's just he's sitting there and it drives. No. It is uninspired. It is turning a blind eye to a huge catalog of characters that the fan base would adore.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. Goombas have a place, though. Come on.
Yes, as a stage hazard. Maybe have one standing on the finish line waving a little flag in its mouth. But no, not as a racer.
All right. Well, I mean, there are definitely characters I prefer than Goomba, but, it's like, he's a Goomba. Come on.
I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember seeing any of the Koopalings in the footage.
Yeah, that's weird. Then again, they seem to be on again, off again with the Koopalings and always have been, so.
I don't care. They're characters in this character kart racer.
Yes.
So if they're unlockable and there's like a whole treasure trove of extended cast that they're hiding in the background, okay, cool. I will eat my hat on that one. If it's DLC, no. Flipping the double deuce and jumping backwards into the grave on that one. No.
Yeah, they'll probably do DLC. They probably will for an $80 game. All right. Well, either way, we're not on board with this insanity anyway.
It kills me too because
I can wait.
They do have a lot of stuff at launch that I do want, or at least think I do.
Yeah.
And I would love to be first in line, but I cannot remotely afford this.
No, it's going to take several price drops for me. I mean, as usual, to be honest with you, I always wait. I'm never on launch. But yeah, no, that's crazy. That's nearly PS3 levels of crazy. Nearly.
Yeah. And the other stuff that I'm looking forward to, like Silk Song and the rest of Deltarune, play that on anything.
Yep. All right, Scurvy Pirate Hog has a question. As they say, every character has their fans. Every character is someone's favorite. So when you write any licensed comic project, is this something you try to keep in mind? How do you keep the balance of writing the story you have in mind, but also trying to make sure every character in said story has their moment to make fans of said characters happy?
It's tricky, and there's a degree of acceptance that you're not going to be able to please everybody. The niche characters are niche for a reason. They are not the protagonist. They are not part of the immediate supporting cast. They're kind of a fan favorite there, but they do not necessarily need the spotlight. The true character, the true cast needs to get the preferential treatment because that's where the story is. That being said, I want to treat every character with respect, knowing that somebody's going to be looking out for them. And if I can give each of them their one little moment, then, most fans will be happy that they got that moment, that their favorite was treated with love and had their moment to shine. There will be those that are mad that their one character didn't get to steal the show and do everything, but that's not going to happen regardless. So I just try to make sure everybody can do their best within the confines of whatever the project is.
All right. Soccer God has a question. Pulp Fiction, but it's Chippendale Rescue Rangers. In the roles, Chip as Vincent Vega, Dale as Jules Winfield, and Gadget as Mia Wallace. How does it play out?
Play it straight. Scene for scene, word for word, beat for beat. The exact same. It's just with the little chipmunky voices.
Perfect.
Dale delivering that monologue in the diner.
Yeah.
Chip looking around with the coat slung over his arm, kind of confused.
Yeah.
I kind of dread the scene with the syringe, but I'm going to stick to my guns here. Beat for beat, scene for scene.
Why
it's
not?
Just them.
Might as well. It's just as bloody. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same thing. Perfect. Say what one more time in that freaking voice. In that freaking voice. Oh no. Alright, here's a question from Soul Slayer 7. With the announcement of Metroid Prime 4, I feel the need to ask this type of question. If asked by Nintendo to write a Metroid comic, do you think the series would have enough characters to work with in the series? Or would you have ideas for more comic exclusive characters like you did in Archie Mega Man?
Depends on the approach. If they wanted something that was like Archie's Mega Man or the Sonic comics or how we treated Mario or blah, 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 I think you need to add a little bit of an extended cast, but not a lot. Just enough to give context for who Samus is hunting and what peril she's facing. But the whole point of Samus is she's alone. It's her up against the odds. And the more characters you saddle her with, it's the antithesis of what makes her games so creepy and memorable. So I think you could go that route technically and use it as an avenue to explore her and her own personal view. Her grappling with her humanity or lack thereof, given all the various forms of DNA floating around in her form now, because she's part Chozo, part Metroid, part X now, I think.
Okay.
I think there is a very fascinating exploration from her point of view on what she is and who she is. And you need a little bit of a cast to bounce around with that. But how I would prefer to approach it is not your traditional monthly comic, but like a prestige graphic novel that is mostly silent and relies purely on the artwork. Big sweeping vistas and full page spreads when she's facing down various beasties or going through the alien terrain. Really use the visuals to show her progressing deeper into the creepy catacombs or fighting her way up out of the molten terrain, and let the visuals tell the story, because that's what Metroid is, really. You're interacting with an art piece. You don't typically have a ton of dialogue or character interactions. It's just you, Samus, and whatever's trying to kill you on this planet. So let that tell the story. Let you experience it rather than read something with a bunch of talking faces.
Well, you say that, like, the artwork, I think Adam Bryce Thomas would be freaking sick as an artist for that sort of style.
Oh, yeah, he could definitely do it.
Yeah.
All right. I want like full watercolor painted pages, man. I want this to be a coffee table book.
That sounds great. Question from Spoiler 1001. After looking into and reading the crossover and later fusion of the Dick Tracy and Little Orphan Annie stories, I got curious. What is the crossover you've not worked on that has stuck with you the most?
IDW's recent-ish Ghostbusters Ninja Turtles crossover.
Mm-hmm.
That was exquisite. Like, I honestly have a hard time reading comics now because I see the code, man.
Yeah.
I don't see the comic, I see the construction, and it takes me out of it. This was one of those few times where I was just along for the ride, but I could see how it was put together and how it was linking the two universes' lore in a way that was accessible, but also advanced both. Oh my God, man. The way everything just fit together with all those different angles, I was in awe. Like, I'm sitting there going, this is how you do it. This is a textbook example of a fantastic cross-license crossover that still works within their respective continuities. Just immaculate. Love it.
It helps that they both take place in New York.
Yeah, and it's a fun read by itself, but
yeah,
I saw the code and it was elegant.
All right, here's one from the Aldi Roger. Hey, Ian, any tips, advice, or insights when it comes to writing humor?
Write what makes you laugh, because humor is subjective. And when reviewing it, if you're still getting a chuckle out of it, it's probably good. If you're going, it doesn't land this time, or, I didn't think about it in this context, maybe not, then take it out. Go with your gut. If you find it funny, odds are somebody else is going to find it funny.
I mean, at least I will, but, I laugh at everything, so. The Cyberspace Coco has a question. In the Mega Man X series, it is heavily implied that Dr. Wily still persists in the form of Surges and Isaac. Hey, we were...
That's what I was forgetting. Surges.
Surges, yeah. Surges. Whatever, I don't know. We were talking about this earlier. How convenient. Inafune kind of indirectly confirms Surges was Wily in some form when he flat out debunked Dr. Vale as Wily, but played coy when it came to Surges in the same interview. I know it was far down the line, but did you have any idea on how much you would have leaned on and played with this idea?
I would want to do my research first. I knew that was going to be something that I would want to address if we ever got to that point. But I also knew I wanted to do my research first to make sure that I understood the scope of the implication. Like, was this just a kind of Easter eggy thing that people read too much into? Or was it something that was very thinly veiled and never followed up on? Is there something that was lost in translation? Was there extra material that lent itself to one side of the argument or the other? And then kind of define my own personal truth for that adaptation and go from there. Haven't done that research yet, so hard to say off the top of my head, but I'm inclined to lean towards my idea of Wily tried to preserve himself digitally and borked the process somehow.
I mean, that sounds like him. The Might of Gebbera has a question. When you write stories, do you write quote-unquote reality as everything that exists?
I'm not sure I understand the heart of the question, but it's not something I generally consider.
I would say whatever you want. You figure it out. Choose your own reality. Reject all reality and substitute your own.
Like, if the subject matter is the nature of reality, like with Claus McGee, then yeah, it's something I have to take into consideration because that's the crux of the narrative.
You're thinking too hard about this, Ian. You're really thinking too hard about this.
Might as well make the most of it.
Okay.
If it's something like Dragoon, though, where it's just its own story, no, I don't really think about the reality of it. It just is. So I hope that answers the question.
Who knows? Twilord has a question. How do you create an interesting character? I've heard some ideas like, quote, take two characters who resonate for you and see what happens if you ram them together. But I'm not necessarily sure how ramming Mewtwo and Elphaba together is meant to give me an idea for a character.
Well, I mean, a green Mewtwo and a witch's hat. What more do you want?
Yeah.
I would say it comes down to deconstructing them. Like, look at the characters and what is it about them that makes them resonate with you? Is it their origins? Is it their motivations? Is it how they go about pursuing their goals? What is it about them that really clicks for you? And say, why? You know, why is it that any of this really captures your attention? And then follow that route. Do that again, but within the context of your own story. And within this particular scenario, you know, you take these two characters and you say, all right, what about their origins are similar? What about their origins are different? If they swapped origins, how would their particular characters deal with that? Or how would they change because of it? You know, if they were to meet with a particular goal in mind, how would they work together? How would they not work together? What is it about them individually that would cause an interesting moment? And how would it work together if you fused them? You know, is there a common ground between them where they would be in sync? And if you find that moment, there's your character. How does that character go from there? Because now you are removed from the two. You've mated one. And now with that one, explore your new opportunities.
Did I pronounce Elphaba wrong? I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not sure. Did Elphaba? I don't know.
Diane.
Okay. I'm being told that the combination of these two is just Marvel Rivals Emma Frost. Which is like, all right, well, I mean, that tracks. Here's one from Vineclad. Paramount Pictures just announced a brand new Naked Gun movie starring Liam Neeson as Lieutenant Frank Drebin Jr. Trailer dropped last week. What's your thoughts on it?
The tone of the trailer seems about on the mark.
Yeah.
The humor seems to be about in the same vein. Not the biggest fan of Liam Neeson myself, but that's my own personal hang-ups. So I don't know. Worth a shake. Worth a shot.
Liam Neeson is a far cry from Leslie Nielsen, I'll be honest with you. Like, no shade. Liam Neeson is great in his own right, but Leslie Nielsen is a legend. So, also, of all things to bring back, Naked Gun. It's like, seems like that should have been something that should have happened, I don't know, 10 years ago. Seems a little...
I mean, nothing is new, so...
I know.
Really, does it matter when we rob the graves at this point?
Okay. Well, I guess they were trying to... they've been trying to make one since 2009, so I guess that makes sense.
Oh.
Got caught up in, typical development hell, of course. Although Liam Neeson and Leslie Nielsen, that feels intentional.
It does.
That's weirdly close. name wise.
That was a joke made in the boardroom, and it's like, wait, what if we could?
Yeah, that definitely feels like someone saying something like that. Yeah, which is not bad. That's pretty funny. All right, Walter has a question. What do you think there is more of in the world, doors or wheels?
I'm inclined to say doors.
Yeah. Think about it. Pretty much every car would have at least one door.
And more than that, I believe there's more residences than there are cars.
Yeah.
And if you're going to take your front door, your back door, your closet door, your laundry door, I mean, the oven front, that's a door in its own right. There's a lot of doors.
Doors have been around a lot longer than cars, so but I mean, cars are not the only source of wheels, to be fair.
This is true.
There's office chairs. There's like pretty much anything that uses a pulley system.
I'm going to count those as wheels. Like, do we define wheel as any kind of circular structure, or wheel specifically as a circular structure moves?
Yeah, this is getting into the semantics of what is a wheel.
What is our reality?
What is a door? What is a door? Yeah, what is a door? I don't know. Let's just say there's a lot of both. Wilmar10 is here with our last question. Who owns the rights to the Mega Man characters that originated in Archie? E.g., if Capcom willed it, could Tempo appear in Mega Man 12?
As far as I'm aware, Capcom owns everything. And yeah, they could bring her back.
Well, what are they waiting for?
Mega Man 12, I guess.
Well, they should hurry up.
Well, maybe it'll be a Switch 2 exclusive.
Oh, no, never mind. I don't want it.
So we better get that food truck running so that we can afford the damn thing.
Okay, I guess so. Yeah, fine. All right.
Well, I go looking to how to lay an egg. We'll call it Elf here.
Please
Thank you so much for all your questions that come from patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and being a YouTube member. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, eat well, and we'll see you next time on the BumbleKast.
Please don't eat those eggs. I know where they've been. Don't eat those eggs. Oh no. Oh no. We done here?
Gonna fill me a Bumble carton. I'm gonna go get myself an Ian egg burger. Hold on.
No, I don't want to think about that. Oh boy, you truly are the Eggman. Goo goo kachoob. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
Level check 1 2 1 2. Level check 1 2 1 2.
Okay, that's a little better in that you actually exist in the audio. Hey. That's new and good.
That's useful.
Yes, we don't need to just record my side of the conversation. That's not useful.
The dark path of the BumbleKast, where it's just Kyle talking to himself, imagining responses.
Oh man, it's true though.
Stay in his little padded recording booth because at least he's entertained.
At least he's over there.